Here we go again. You mean to tell me that we have to go through this, through the blocks, and beat a boss? Yes, I guess so, we have to. Last time we were talking about home brewing. I'm going to get right back to it because this is all stuff we've seen before, and again, we've committed to showing you, the internet, everything in this game, including me just stinking it up. So I've made a lot of different things, and I do plan to continue with that once we get settled in Dublin. There is a home brewing shop, or a couple of them, I guess, in Dublin that I've looked up. So I'll be able to get all my ingredients maybe even closer than my store is now. Right now, my home brewing shop, my local home brewing shop, is about a half-hour drive away. So I've had to stock up every time I've gone there. Sadly, I probably won't be going back. I should send the proprietor a nice note because he's helped me a lot. I've seen his videos on YouTube and also bought ingredients from him, gotten suggestions on him, especially when it comes to different hop additions to beer. Something a lot of folks don't know, and I certainly didn't know until I started making beer, is hops are the flowery cone thing from some vine that's actually a close relative of cannabis. There I found some food, little health boost. Close relative of cannabis, doesn't have any of the intoxicating qualities from beer. That all comes from the alcohol, that all comes from the yeast. But the hops add some acid, which gives the beer its bitter flavor. Now, a lot of people say bitter is bad. It's why we don't like bitter things, because a lot of poisonous foods are bitter, or poisonous things are bitter, so we learn not to have them. But without bitterness, beer would be kind of gross. It would be too sweet. You need bitterness to kind of balance out the sweet maltiness. Here we see another large bat. We fought this same boss without the water, which I fell into earlier in the game. So, back to the blocks. Anyway, hops are much like wine grapes in the way they're grown now, in that there are hundreds of varieties of them, and more varieties are being developed all the time. New hybrids are being developed all the time with different properties, different flavors, different smells, and they behave differently in beers. Most beers contain more than one type of hops, more than one breed of them. Generally, you have some hops that have more bitter compounds that are used to just bitter the beer up. And then some hops have more flavorful and more aroma compounds that are a little more interesting, that are used towards the end, where they won't. And here, I got myself knocked off the ledge and trapped, so back to the water to start over. And so, generally you have some that have a lot of bitter flavors that you boil for a long time just to add some flat bitterness to counteract the sweetness. And then if you want to add something like a citrusy flavor to, a lot of pale ales have kind of a grapefruity aroma to it, or flavor, that comes from different kinds of hops. Some of them have evergreeny kind of taste. And I know these sound kind of gross when you're thinking beer, like, I don't want my beer to taste like grapefruit, I don't want my beer to taste like pine needles, and it's hard to describe in that way, but they really are nice in different kinds of beers, especially if you are not into the Busch Light, Natty Light beers that I used to drink lots and lots of. I've kind of gone away from those recently, and I like darker, bigger, more flavorful beers, which is nice when you make it, because those beers are a lot more expensive to buy at the liquor store or the supermarket, but they don't really cost very much to make. So if you got a nice, if you're a skilled home brewer, which I am not a highly skilled home brewer, but I've done some experimenting, and I know what works for me and what doesn't work for me. You can make some really good tasting things, and things that you want and you like for a lot cheaper than you can get them for. You want to add some, you want to make an oatmeal stout? Great, get the stout ingredients and put some oatmeal in the mash. Get it nice and foamy. Oatmeal stouts are not cheap. When we go to Ireland, of course, the home of the world's most famous stout, Guinness, in Dublin, Ireland. You can visit, I guess, the Guinness storehouse and take a tour. Rick Steves, our main travel advice guy, gives it an okay score. This bad, I can't believe how easy the bosses are at this point in the game. Bosses should be a lot harder. And this path in general that I've taken, the levels are just brutal, but the bosses are easy. I don't know if that was intentional, that we'll make the levels just ridiculously tough and the bosses pretty easy. Frankenstein was easy before. These bats are on the easier side, although I didn't make it that time. These bats are on the easier side than other enemies earlier in the game, so maybe that's how they balanced it. I don't know if that was a conscious choice by the Japanese Konami team or not. So this game, if you just could go through it without getting killed, this game would be really, really short. I'm curious to see in all the videos what my total playing time in this game will be. That's one of the reasons I want to commit to playing the whole thing and talking about the whole thing, to see just how much gameplay time I put into going through one run-through of this. But boy, next time I play this, I am not going to pick this path because of these level frustrations. Now, my emulator lag and controller lag are not my excuses, but they certainly don't make it any easier. You can't see the lag here in the video because the emulator is lagging because it's recording, and it's at the expense of the live gameplay that we have such smooth videos. And if I turned up the quality of the videos, you would see a little bit more, but my playing experience would lag a lot more. So this is kind of the balance I've struck. This compression quality lags a reasonable amount that I can work through it, and makes videos that have reasonable good quality as long as you don't try and watch them on too big a frame. So I will pick up homebrewing again once we get over there. I'll have to get another starter kit, a few more ingredients. Looks like I skipped the food inexplicably on this run through. Did I forget about the food this time? Maybe I did. Oh well. It's just the bats. So I've got my axe. I'm set to go. Well, most of my brewing decisions will have to be made once we get our place to live and I see what kind of space we have to deal with. Now, when this boss is beaten, it ends pretty abruptly because this isn't actually the end of level 7. This boss just gets me through that door. So as soon as the boss is defeated, screen goes black, and this video will end, and we'll pick up next time.